key trends and themes that we're seeing in the sustainable finance space for 2024, pretty numerous, though let's call three buckets. What we expect to see in markets, in particular in bond markets, from corporate issuers, continued regulation and particularly around disclosure and taxonomies, and also in relation to some of the thematics in the market. So taking the latter, the thematics that we're seeing in particular, we expect nature to be on the top of the list for corporates and investors during the course of this year. And what we mean by that is the impacts of nature on a business strategy and also the dependencies. We've been doing some work actually during the course of 2023 with our investment partner Pollination, building capacity amongst our own teams in that regard. Another industry thematic is definitely around energy transition and the acceleration of that. Certainly that's backed up by some pretty substantial commitments during COP28 in Dubai last December, and certainly the extraterritorial effect of the US Inflation Reduction Act is playing a very key role in that acceleration as well. In terms of what we expect to see in markets, I mentioned bond markets in particular. We are seeing a bit of a resurgence and interest from borrowers to be in the bond markets in ESG format, and we do expect that to continue during this year. We're encouraging it amongst our customers. We've actually had a good start to 2024 so far in that regard, particularly from the usual seasonal funders across the sovereign, semi-sovereign cohort. So we've seen KEXIM in the Asian market so far this year. We've seen Filipino Bank, RCBC, as well as New South Wales Treasury Corporation being in the market as well. So good start there, and we expect to see that to continue. In the theme around policy and regulation, that is an area of the market that is only growing in momentum. For example, we're seeing mandatory disclosure regimes coming into force in New Zealand this year. It is on the Sustainable Finance Action Plan in Australia that the Australian Federal Treasurer has launched. We've seen the launch of the Singapore Asia taxonomy work as well. So a continuing theme in that regard.